Hey man, welcome to this new video. In the last video I talked about OCR and how you should set that up in N8N. In this video we're going to talk about voice agents. How should you build them? What should you use? What settings are best? And how do you connect that up with N8N to make it a really full-fledged AI voice agents that can actually really replace a person when it comes to calling and performing actions. The voice agents we're going to be building can send emails, can check for availability, can book meetings, can reschedule calls, and it can basically do anything else you want, as long it has an API and you can connect it up with N8N. So guys, let's start building. I'm going to split this up in two videos. First, we're going to dive into the Vapi dashboard and we're going to dive in how do we set this up within Vapi. And in the next video, we're going to be making and setting up all the connections within N8N. Just for, it would be a very long video if we do both. So I thought that would be making it a lot easier. So yeah, guys, let's dive in Vapi real quick. So when you come in Vapi, you first, of course, have to make an account. I assume all of you know how to do that. I'm not going to explain how to do that. Then we come to this part, assistance. You can do two things within Vapi. You can build workflows like this. You like, it's a schematic, like basically drawing of what steps the AI voice agent has to perform. So what options it has and what choices it has to make. But in my opinion and in my experience, this just ends up making the voice agent slower, less reliable, and more time consuming to build. So I've built a few voice agents within the workflow section of Vapi, but we're definitely going with assistance because it's just that much easier to build and, in my opinion, like faster and even more consistent. So we can create an assistant and we can create a blank template, or we can choose one. I would really recommend looking for a quick start, because then you can also see how you should prompt these agents. Because the prompting is probably the hardest part, because it's always a balancing act. On the one hand, your client wants all this stuff built in, and it has to be very robust, and you want it to say exactly what you want. But on the other hand, it will make it way slower and more expensive to run if you have a longer prompt. So this is already a pretty long prompt, but you can see it will work. If Vapi uses it's a green flag. You can use it as well. But you really have to realize that the shorter the prompt is, the faster your agent probably will respond, because it has to take into account everything that is mentioned within that prompt every time it's going to say something. So that just creates delay. But of course, there are certain things that you should and have to have within that prompt to have it perform the way you want it to. That's the balancing act I'm talking about. So when we come here, I'm gonna walk through everything, because in my opinion that would be really nice if you're just starting off building these for your clients, to have a video that explains everything and runs you through it all, and from there you can just start building. So here's the cost, and this is the cost that is the summary, or the everything added up, all the separate costs. So you have 5 cents a minute for Vapi, like for the hosting and for the platform. So yeah, they want to earn they want to earn as well. Then you have DeepGram, that's the transcriber. So that's taking the text from the person the agent is calling with, and is like the voice, and is translating it to text. Then we have the AI, the LLM model. In this case, we're using ChatGPT 4.0. And last but not least, we have the voice. So if we would change the voice to, for example, 11 Labs, and we would just pick Sarah, we click publish. Before this, it was 16 cents a minute, and you can see it has now become 17 cents a minute because 11 Lab is more expensive. Then we have latency. This is pretty important. This is all the providers, all their latency added up. So if we would change the model from GPT-4o to, for example, Anthropic Cloud Sonnet 4, you can already see it has 1000 milliseconds delay. If we would click publish, it is now 1600 milliseconds instead of 1200 milliseconds, so that makes it longer. So then we come to the models. This is the LLM you're choosing, and you can choose anything you want. In my opinion, you should just stick to 4.0 latest cluster, or 4.0 cluster if you want to be a bit cheaper. In my opinion, it has the perfect balance, and it has been trained on so much that it is fast, reliable, and just pretty human-like. You have few of these models that are smarter, but they're really slow. So if you want some speed, I assume you want some speed because it has to sound human. I wouldn't recommend those. GPT-4.1 you can try. You have to experiment a bit, of course. That's I always recommend to experiment yourself. And something else you can try out is Claude 3.7 Sonnet or 4, but they are pretty expensive and pretty slow. But they are very, very smart. So try it out. You can also look at XAI or something else. But that's up to you. Just experiment, because I can't give you the best one. First message mode. This decides who speaks first. So you can select assistant speaks first. So then the AI just instantly starts talking. You never want that, because that's just really, like not human-like. Especially if you're doing outbound, you're picking up and it's like, hey, who am I talking to? And then the agent should start talking, not right away. So you have to always select assistant waits for user. So yeah, you can experiment with that as well, but I would recommend that one, especially for outbound. And this just maybe for inbound this could be good. I think it's good for inbound, but you should add some delay to the assistant, because it's just very fake if it's already talking when you're not even listening. So then we come to the prompt. This is the most important part. This is the prompt, and it decides basically everything the agent does. And I have created something for you guys that you can use to create amazing prompts. I've built a ton of voice agents, and I have created a ChatGPT within OpenAI that makes really consistent and good system prompts for voice agents. And I'm going to show you right now. So guys, I have built this Vapi voice agent builder. So what does this do? It creates your entire system prompt. So you just have to tell him what you want to build, basically. And you have to be very specific, of course, because the better your input is, the better the output is from this ChatGPT. But it also will help you build the entire voice agent from start to finish. So you can see it as some kind of companion that's just there with you and helps you along the way with your decisions and reminds you of certain things you have to take in account. So if we're gonna be removing this and the first message, and we're gonna be saying, hey, by the way, I use whisper flow for my transcribing, so I can just speak and it translates it to text. I want to build a dental clinic voice agent that can check availability, that can book calls, and can use the database for knowledge. I want it to be friendly, open, nice, and just make it have everything that a good dental assistant should have. So of course this is not that much input, but this could be enough. And just let's see what it comes up with. So of course this whisper flow already cleans it up. That's really nice. So let's co-design this. All right, we should call 3 tools: check availability, book appointment, and KB lookup. Amazing. Where does availability live? It's already asking me questions. You know, it's asking me everything I should, you know, think about. What should I think about here? And then we have the prompt. V1 concise, so you can of course iterate on this. It doesn't have to be the perfect prompt in one shot. But for now, you're a Sunny. Okay. Be clear, you smile in your voice. Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty good. Confirm spelling of names and emails. Protect privacy. If informational use, KB lookup. Summarize briefly. Good. So this this prompt is based on tens of hundreds basically of good system prompts that are used for voice agents, so you can really trust that this would work. So also the tool usage is being talked about, and that's very important if you want to have really consistent tool usage. Let me check your availability real quick, and it checks your availability. You don't want it to just do random stuff without telling the customer. That's the worst part. You don't want it to be slow, you don't want it to do random stuff, and you want it to sound human. And for that you need a really good system prompt. So we're just gonna pop this in. And guys, of course this is a short video, so you know, play around with this GPT because it's really good. I use it every time. We're putting this on OpenAI, we're putting the model on GPT-4o cluster. Assistant waits for user. Okay, so we have this prompt. I remove V1 concise, and I remove that. So it has everything it needs. We'll publish it real quick before it just suddenly disappears. Then we have max tokens. Guys, make sure you put this high enough, because if you have some complex workflows, for example, your voice agent has to perform a few thinking steps, and then call a tool, it should have enough tokens. So if you put this too high, it could burn up your credits real fast. So don't put it too high, but also don't put it too low, because then your voice agent will time out and then it just hangs up. Temperature. This is how freely it talks. So should it be very deterministic, you should put it low. Should it be very freely talking and, you know, also saying stuff you might not want it to say, put it higher. But it could be, you know, more open, more you know, random. So that's up to you, and you should just test that out. Then we come to the voice. There are tons of voice providers. In my opinion, you should use 11 Labs, but you can try Cartesia, Minimax as well. Rhyme could be good sometimes, and OpenAI. But OpenAI is, in my opinion, pretty good with English, but not with other languages, because you can't select the language in Vapi for some reason. So for that case, you should just use 11 Labs. Then you go to 11 Labs and you look up, you know, if you're English, then you can of course use OpenAI and any other provider. But if you're from like a different country and you sell AI automations or AI services there, you can go to 11 Labs, filter right here. I live in the Netherlands, so I'll do Dutch, and I'll apply filters, and I get all these amazing Dutch voices that are trained on Dutch people, so they are consistent with the Dutch language and actually sound good. And you can add them by clicking add voice ID manually, doing this, copy voice ID, and popping that in right there. Pump it in. So here's the model. You can choose multilingual V2, sounds more human, or turbo V2.5, that's faster and sounds a bit less human in my opinion, but it really depends on the voice you're using. Then we have transcriber. You should just put this on 3. I don't know why it's like standard on 2, but just put it on 3 because that's the newest one. Language, you should put this on NL or on English or on any language you are selling to your customer, or is the most, you know, spoken language that the customer or the voice agent is going to be talking to. Background denoising, always turn this on. That's that ensures that the background is filtered, so the voice agent can always hear you very clearly. Key terms, you can put here certain words that the AI might not be used to, but will be very common within your calls. So for example, if you have a client that sells battery cells or something, you can have your ChatGPT that I created create a list of 25 key terms for the agent. So now it will just give us a list. So I wasn't clear enough for the transcriber. So words that come up a lot. Look, okay, so that's great. So cleaning, whitening, filling, crown bridge, of course, these are all words that come up often within the dental clinic. So put that there so the transcriber recognize them better. All right, then we're coming up to tools. Tools are probably the most important thing. Not the most, of course, the system prompt is more important, but if you want to have it actually perform actions and not just be fun to talk to, tools are very important. So for tools, we go left right here and we press create tool. And here I've already created this tool. I've called it calendar check availability. We put a description. So we go back to our voice agent, and it has already created our tool schemas. So that's amazing. When we have check availability, return up to 10 available appointment slots that meet time criteria. So we put that. I will put that right there. Save. This async means if you select this, the tool calls will happen while the agent keeps talking. So for some things, for example, if you want your voice agent to send a certain email, you can definitely select this, because there's no need to wait for it to send the email, because it will take some time. Gmail will take some time, and he'll look at the email later. So that doesn't matter. But for check availability, you should definitely not put this on, because it has to retrieve the available slots and has to give them back to the client. So that's why this exists. And just think what makes sense in this certain in this scenario. Parameters. So parameters are the we'll dive into this the next video. But this is basically what should your voice agent be sending. What should your voice agent be sending to n8n or to the webhook or to make whatever you're using? So probably to check calendar availability, we need requested time like this, and we'll just say the time requested, time and date requested by the client. And we can probably here, let's take a look, date range starts. Look, yeah, we need this ISO 8601 date. That's the format. Oh, sorry, wrong tab. ISO 601 dates in Europe, Amsterdam time zone. So of course, put your own time zone there. I'm not sure where you're from, but yeah, you could do it like this, and we'll dive in more deeply in the next video, because this is all very important for the n8n functions to work properly. So you should also add, for example, you want to send the requested time, but you also want to send the name of the customer. And to confirm the booking, you also want the email. So mail, the email of the customer. So in this way, the AI voice agent will automatically send the right values to the webhook within an end, so we can use this data to look up the time, and maybe the name and the mail aren't as relevant right now, but when you want to actually book the appointment, of course you need a name and an email and even a phone number, um, to be able to log that to this certain customer. So that's how this works, and you can also make them required, so the agent will never forget to send those to the webhook. So here we have the server settings, and this is where we put the webhook. I can show you real quick. We have a webhook here. You go to production URL, you press copy, and you put that in. That's basically it, and now it will send it to this webhook. This works the same within Make or any like Zapier, whatever you're using. I use N because in my opinion it's definitely the best. And you can also use the test URL, but make sure when you turn on the flow for production, you copy the production URL and put that here. Then we can do some authorizations. It's not really necessary, but you can use it if you want for your for your clients to have it be a bit more safe and secure. Then we have phone numbers. Yeah, so I'll blur this real quick because this is my phone number for Twilio. But yeah, this is the phone number your voice agent is gonna be calling from. So you should connect it through Twilio. You can see Twilio, Vonage, Telnix, or Free Vapi, but that only works in the US. So yeah, this is basically of course very necessary, and you can just link it up. If I've only used Twilio, you go to your country, you go into your Twilio account, you put here the SID and the auth token, and that's basically it. And there you go, and the number, of course. So that's it. Then we have voice library. That's not really relevant. API keys. This, of course, you need for performing certain voice Vapi actions within NNN. So there could be a scenario where you have a CRM. So I have a CRM like Pipedrive, and I have a trigger on it on Pipedrive event, and it has like create new activity like that. And of course there's gonna be more steps between this, but from the trigger I wanted to call that person, that activity that's being created. Then you need a Vapi a Vapi HTTP request to start the call, and we'll walk through this in the next video, but you need a API key for this, so that's why that's there, and we'll come to that in the next video. So let's look files. Here you can add basically data if you want your voice agent to have certain knowledge. One thing that's good to mention: the more you add, the slower your voice agent will become. And another thing to keep in mind is that it takes time for the voice agents to look stuff up. So if your voice agent doesn't have to have that much knowledge, you should just put it within the system prompt. So if it's just certain opening times or other information, just go there. Then we have metrics. Here you can see your I've created just a new account for this video, but here you can see your stats. And here we have call log. So here you can listen back the video, the calls, of course, and analyze them a bit and hear what they were about, and just analyze them. And down here you have billing. So here you can just connect up your credit card, and here you can see your balance. Let me take a look. We have settings. Is there anything? I don't think so. Anything else that we have to mention? Of course, we have advanced settings. We have start speaking plan. So we're back at the assistant, guys. If I went too fast, we went to voice, we went to transcribe, we went to tools, analysis. This is we'll first do analysis. This is when you, of course, you want to log the call somewhere. You will put a prompt here, so you just maybe like this is what it is on default. But you can put anything you want here. You can also speak in your language here, and it would output in your language if you're not English. So this is basically the summary, and if you don't want it to be 2 to 3 sentences, you say 5 to 7. I don't know what you want, but it will do whatever you want there, and it will output that with the end of call report that we'll talk about in the next video. Success evaluation. This is like a nice rubric or a way that your voice agent automatically decides if it was a successful call. So you can have any scale you want. Maybe automatic would be good, or you want 0 to 100. So it would just do that on its own. And structured data. This is the structured data that the call will output after the call is done. So if there are certain variables that you need out of the call every single time, you can put those there. Then we come to advanced. Here is start speaking plan, voicemail detection, stop speaking plan, call timeout settings, keypad input settings, and messaging. Basically, all of these settings are like about the behavior of the voice agent. So when should it start talking? How long should it be waiting? On like punctuation of the other speaker, how long should it wait on no punctuation seconds? The default settings are pretty good, but you could definitely try and mess around with these. I can't say these are the best settings because it's so dependent on what voice you're using and what LLM and how long your prompts are. But make sure I wouldn't mess with this. I would use this, and I would maybe put it on 0.4 like that, or 0.3. That's all right. But experiment, guys. You have to experiment with those to have them work. So I think we walked through everything. Advanced, it's not really that important for you guys, I think. Anything else here? Oh yeah, you have the voicemail message. That's pretty important. So this is the message that the agent will speak when there's a voicemail. So you'll probably want something like, hey, I see you didn't pick up. Call me back whenever you can, or whatever you want. End of call message. If you leave this blank, it would just think of something on the spot. If you put there, if you keep this, then we just always say this. So yeah, guys, that's it basically. We can go back here. I think we've talked about everything. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll dive into the tools and the functions in the next video, because that's the hard part basically. One thing I forgot to mention is this additional configuration within the voice tab. So you've selected your voice, we've selected Tara, we've selected the model, and then you have all these settings. So you can select the background sound, and you can also do your own custom background sound. What also would work is if you put your MP3 file within Google Drive and make it a public link, then you can use this public link here as well. So you can basically have any background sound you want. Stability is how stable or like monotone, like if it's always the same and always talking pretty stable, or do you want it to be more like this? Sometimes it goes a bit more crazy. You have to experiment, guys. I can't give you the best settings, because if I would switch from Sarah to Will, I would have to change this already, because I'll listen and listen like what sounds human, like what sounds natural. Um, yeah. So sometimes it sounds a bit monotone, and you could put this on more exaggerated. Optimized streaming latency can cause some weird artifacts or some weird talking, but it can also be good. So it's very dependent on the voice. Use speaker boost. Um, Boost the similarity of the synthesized speech and the voice of at the cost of some generation speed. So it says basically your voice will sound better, but it will be a bit slower. Test it out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Auto mode reduces latency for complete sentences, but may affect quality with partial phrases. So what does it say? It makes it faster, but could also screw up with the quality. Speed, this is, if you have a pretty slow voice, you can put it up, but if you have already a pretty fast voice, you might want to turn it down a bit. Style exaggeration, listen to the voice and try it out. So guys, I think we've walked through everything basically. If you have any questions about Vapi or how it works, make sure to leave them down in the comments. We'll talk about the tools in the next video, so we'll link it up. I've already set it up here with an edit N. So we'll walk through how you would set these up and how you would connect basically any application you want. And yeah, I think that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was informative. If you have any questions about your AI agency or any questions about pricing or how we do certain stuff within our business, make sure to ask them down below. And I will definitely try to post more videos, but we're very busy with our day-to-day work with our clients. And I also study I'm still in university, so it's quite busy. But I will try to post a video every week from now on. So if you have any questions or any videos you want me to make, make sure to put them down in the description or down in the comments as well. Thank you guys. Bye.